girl named Esme lands a job in a beautiful house to babysit a child named Ashley. She comes up with a plan and invites her friend Chaz to help scare Ashley to bed so they can have the house to themselves. However, they're unaware that Ashley has an imaginary monster who is out to teach them a lesson. A few days earlier, Esme arrives at the Toot Hill house to babysit the family's twins. Before she goes in, she prepares for how the conversation with her employers will go. Even though Esme doesn't like children, she tries to pretend to be nice so she can leave a good impression. Shortly after, she enters the house and meets Mr. and Mrs. Tuthill, who give her all the instructions she needs, after which they head out. Following this, their kids, Missy and Sissy, sit in front of the TV to watch their favorite show before going to bed. However, Esme turns off the TV and instructs the kids to go to bed immediately. Missy and Sissy disagree with her because it's not time for bed yet, but Esme doesn't like this. Suddenly, she mentions that if they don't go to bed, a scary monster called the Night-Night Man will eat them. As the kids think she's joking, she continues her story and adds that the Night-Night Man is always around to check for kids who don't go to bed early. The kids are already scared at this point, but Esme still continues to scare them by saying that if they mention the monster's name to anyone, he'll come for them. Just as she adds that the monster will knock 3 times when he's around, the kids suddenly hear the knocks, so they quickly run to their rooms. A monster then appears behind Esme, but it turns out to be her friend, Chaz, who is wearing a costume. Esme likes Chaz a lot and is trying to get him to be her boyfriend, but he doesn't look too interested. However, he likes spending time with her while she's on the job because of the benefits that come with staying in her clients' houses. Chaz asks Esme how many times she has pulled off the prank on kids, and she says she has lost count. She also mentions that it's not always the same story, because she just comes up with whatever makes the kids scared. After a while, as they're watching a movie, Esme notices that Chase is busy with his phone. She looks closer and sees that he's texting another girl. Esme is unhappy about this, but Chaz says it's nothing serious. He also tells her not to be worried because being with her is what's more important. Esme then manages to get him excited by mentioning that she has another booking at the Thorn family house. Chaz looks happy about this because the house is one of the most equipped houses in the area. He tells Esme he'll be happy to come with her to the Thorn house, but that it's the last time he'll probably wear the costume because he's tired of playing the monster. Esme doesn't really care because she'll still get to spend time with him. However, as she leans on his shoulder, he gets up and says he wants to get something from the fridge. Days later, Esme arrives at the Thorn house to babysit their child, Ashley. As Mr. and Mrs. Thorn are leaving for a date, they tell Esme that Mrs. Tuthill recommended her. They also add that she doesn't have to worry much about Ashley because she's already tucked in bed. This makes Esme happy, and as Mr. and Mrs. Thorn head out, she goes to the fridge to get ice cream. Before she can enjoy her ice cream, though, she sees Ashley standing next to the fridge. Esme is surprised to see him out of bed, so she asks what Ashley is doing downstairs. Ashley also asks who Esme is, and she says she's the babysitter. Ashley doesn't seem to like her, and he makes his feelings known. However, Esme tells him to go back to bed. Ashley refuses to go back up, and he says he wants ice cream instead. Esme says it's not a good idea, and as Ashley insists, they hear a knock on the door. Esme then tries to scare Ashley, saying it could be the Night-Night Man. Chaz also comes in with his costume to sell the story well, but Ashley doesn't buy it. He laughs at them and asks for another story. He also jokes about how some kids might have fallen for the fake monster in the past. Chaz gets angry because Ashley is already sounding rude, so Esme decides to drag the boy to his room. However, he stops her and says she shouldn't be mean because someone named Kindlesticks doesn't like mean people. Chaz hears this and jokes about it being Ashley's imaginary friend. Esme also adds that things like that can't get them scared. Ashley then mentions that Kindlesticks is not imaginary and that he's also in the room with them. She also says that when Kindlesticks is not invisible, he can stare into their souls with his bright red eyes. Chaz still makes fun of Ashley, and Esme also says Kindlesticks would want him to go to bed. However, he says Kindlesticks is not like adults, and that he protects kids from mean people like Esme. As he also says that Kindlesticks is already angry, Esme gets tired of his imaginary story and drags him to his room while telling him to stop saying things that are not real. Chaz also laughs again as he thinks about the imaginary story, but as he mentions Kindlestick's name, lightning strikes, and this gets him scared, though he doesn't think it's anything serious. Shortly after sending Ashley to bed, Esme and Chaz start watching a movie. While Esme is focused on the TV, Chaz appears to be texting someone again. Esme calls his attention, saying he'd missed the movie, but he seems too distracted to even know what she's talking about. Shortly after, she tries leaning on him, but he tells her to move away because he's uncomfortable. Esme feels disappointed, but she eventually sits well and places her hand behind his back. Just then, Chaz asks why she touched his shoulder. She says she didn't do it, but after a while, he complains about it again. She denies it again, and this gets him angry as he tells her that he's not finding it funny, but she still doesn't know what she did. Almost immediately, Chaz feels pain in his ear and asks why she flicked his ear. She says she didn't do it, and as he's about to complain again, he sees that someone has eaten his sandwich on the table. He asks if she ate it, but she says she didn't. At this point, he realizes she didn't do anything, and Esme also believes it must be Ashley who's playing tricks on them. Esme then goes upstairs to check up on Ashley. Before she opens the door, she sees another room open. This looks suspicious, but before she goes in, Ashley appears behind her and asks what she's looking for. Esme then mentions that she and Chaz do not find any of his tricks funny. Ashley says he didn't do anything and that it was Kindlesticks. Esme still doesn't think it's funny, and she complains about how Ashley is getting on her nerves. She also mentions that she'll make things unbearable for Ashley if he keeps trying to mess with her. As she boasts that she makes or breaks the kids in the neighborhood, Ashley makes fun of how she's talking. Before Esme can respond, she hears Chaz screaming for help, so she runs downstairs to see what's wrong. She sees Chaz looking unsettled and asks what happened. Chaz says something yanked his hair, but Esme looks confused because she knows it can't be Ashley since they were both upstairs. The two of them then start wondering what might be happening to them. Suddenly, Chaz says he saw something moving outside in the garden. He sounds so sure about it and nears the window to check with Esme, but they don't see anything. While they're still looking, Ashley jokes about the creature outside being the Night-Night Man. Esme doesn't find this funny, and she tells Chaz to continue watching the movie while she takes Ashley back to bed. Before they leave each other, someone throws food at the door, and this gets them scared. As they start wondering if they're under attack, Chaz sees the piano playing by itself. Ashley then says it's Kindlesticks and that he wants to play with them. Chaz and Esme then have to duck as a glass plate flies towards them. Ashley also shows them the shadow of a spider on the ceiling. Because Chaz is scared of spiders, this freaks him out, and he asks why Esme brought him to such a scary house. As they run towards the entrance, Chaz sees the word Kindlesticks on the wall, and since he knows none of them wrote it, he pushes Esme away and says he's leaving. Esme tries to stop him, but as he runs out of the house, the door gets locked immediately. Esme then runs to meet Ashley, who asks if she now believes that Kindlesticks is real. Esme asks what the monster wants, and Ashley says he wants to play. As MC says she's not interested, Ashley tells her that Kindlesticks doesn't like to get no for an answer. Despite how scared Esme is, Ashley doesn't seem to panic. Esme then tells her that they need to find a way to stop Kindlesticks. She asks how she can do it, but Ashley tells her to just be nice because Kindlesticks doesn't like it when people are mean. Following this, Esme suggests giving Ashley the ice cream he wanted. As she picks it out of the fridge, Ashley says Kindlesticks wants her to be nice to everyone, and not just him. He also says the monster can look into her soul and see everything about her. Esme says she's not mean, but as she sounds angry, the lights in the house go off. Ashley then says it's Kindlestick's way of disagreeing with what she just said. MC drags Ashley back upstairs, but as they're going, he asks what she wants to do. She says she wants to call 911, but Ashley says Kindlesticks won't stop until she plays with him. Suddenly, Esme's phone mysteriously flies out of her hand and lands on the wall. She then watches as Kindlesticks types an insult to Chaz. Esme begs for it not to be sent, but the monster doesn't seem to care. After the message is sent, Esme feels disappointed, but Ashley tells her that Kindlesticks did the right thing because Chaz was a loser. Just then, Esme's phone appears to malfunction until it starts showing pictures of some of the kids in the area, including Missy and Sissy. Esme says she didn't take any of the pictures, but Ashley says Kindlesticks did. As he asks who they are, Esme says they're the other kids she babysits. The kids look scared in the pictures, and Ashley says they probably didn't find her scary tricks funny. Just then, Esme says she doesn't want to see any of their pictures again. Suddenly, her phone mysteriously flies around and hits the wall until it gets broken. As Esme tries to think of what to do next, she sees Ashley looking at her strangely. She asks what's wrong, and Ashley says it's the first time she has seen Kindlesticks so angry. He also adds that it seems Kindlesticks wants to now make her pay for everything she did to those other kids she used to babysit. As Esme tries to run away, she sees that there's no way out. She then tells Ashley to help her beg Kindlesticks while she hides in a nearby room. Ashley tries to beg Kindlesticks to forgive Esme, but he roars angrily. This also forces Ashley to beg Esme to open the door because Kindlesticks is still very angry. After he enters, Ashley then says Kindlesticks is pissed at him because he's now friends with her. Following this, Esme suggests hiding in the closet until Ashley's parents are back. While they're inside the closet, Ashley doesn't think it's a good idea because her parents won't be back for hours. After a while, Ashley and Esme watch as the door opens by itself. Esme tells Ashley to stay silent, but he still says there's something he needs to tell her. He then mentions that even though Kindlesticks is his friend, there are times he loses control of him. Just then, they start hearing footsteps and roars headed towards the closet. As the door opens, Ashley is dragged out, and this gets Esme scared. After a while, Esme leaves the closet to look for Ashley. As she heads out and looks around, Esme doesn't find him, but she keeps hearing his voice screaming for help. While walking around, Esme's fears worsen as she sees a teddy bear moving its head and turning towards her. Esme then picks up a small wooden statue and begs Kindlesticks to release Ashley. Just then, Esme hears Ashley's voice, saying Kindlesticks doesn't want him to go because he thinks she doesn't deserve him. He also says Kindlesticks keeps blaming her for what's happening. As she stops hearing Ashley's voice, MC keeps walking around until she enters a nearby room. Suddenly, the door gets locked, and Esme looks very scared as she struggles to open it. As she fails to open it, Esme begs Kindlesticks not to harm Ashley because his parents would kill her. She also says it would ruin her chances of getting another job. Again, Esme hears Ashley saying that Kindlesticks thinks she just gave the wrong answer. As she wonders what the right answer could be, she realizes that she has to tell the truth about her behavior around kids. She then calls herself a terrible babysitter and adds that the only person she thinks about while on the job is herself. Suddenly, she sees bright red lights in the room and believes it's Kindlestick's eyes. She still continues to talk about herself, saying she's selfish and that she only wanted Chaz to like her. She adds that she can now see that he's a cruel person who doesn't like her. She also mentions that no kid deserves her mean stories. As the bright light gets closer, Esme begs Kindlesticks to forgive her while promising to change her ways. Before it gets any closer, the light in the room comes on, and it turns out that Ashley is holding two red lights and covering himself with a blanket. Esme sees him and feels relieved, but she still asks if he's Kindlesticks. After he confirms this, she asks why he did it, and he says he only wanted to teach her a lesson because of how she treated the other kids, who also talked about her at the school. He asks if she's angry at his prank, but she says she's not. She also tells him that he did a good job. They then shake hands, after which they head to the kitchen and talk about how Ashley was able to pull off the trick. Shortly after, Esme starts cleaning up the house and tells Ashley to go to bed before his parents return from their date. As he's heading to his room, he asks if she needs help, but she says she's okay. He then goes back to hug her before heading to his room. Later that night, Ashley's parents return home. They ask if Ashley didn't give Esme any trouble, but she says they were able to work through it together. As they then see their child sleeping, they commend Esme for doing a good job. However, they refer to Ashley as a girl. Esme sounds confused and asks why they would do that, but they again mention that Ashley is a girl. She also looks at the picture in Ashley's room and sees that the child she was supposed to babysit is a girl. She asks Ashley's mom who the girl in the photo is, and she says it's Ashley. Just then, Ashley wakes up, and Esme confirms that she's actually a girl. She also realizes that if Ashley is a girl, then the boy must be someone else. As she goes downstairs to find the boy, she sees him staring at her with his bright red eyes, and this gets her scared as she realizes that he's Kindlesticks. Ashley's mom then comes over to check on Esme. She can't see Kindlesticks, so she asks what Esme is staring at. As she looks really scared, Esme then says it's Kindlesticks.